and welcome to our Democratizing Actions and Insights with Tableau Pulse with Generative AI Capabilities webinar. I'm Michelle Hauser, the Events Manager here at USEReady, a New York-based data and analytics firm. USEReady is not just another data analytics firm, though. We're the key to success for Fortune 500 powerhouses and large enterprises. We've recently been recognized as a leader in AIM Research's PIMA Quadrant 2023 for top generative AI service providers and as a Tableau Partner of the Year, our sixth accolade in this domain. Collaborating closely with Chief Data Officers and Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Officers, we unlock the full potential of their data, turning it into a competitive advantage. Our expertise spans visual analytics, business intelligence, decision intelligence, artificial intelligence, and product engineering, covering the entire intelligence enterprise value chain. Every offering is tailored to deliver top-notch, value-driven outcomes for our clients. We've got a really great panel from USEReady lined up today to share more about Tableau Pulse and how it is reimagining analytics and transforming how businesses interact with their data. First up, we have our Tableau ambassador, Priyanka Dabal. Priyanka has experience in different domains, ensuring delivery into areas of insights and analytics, along with building data culture within the organization. Next, we're joined by data analytics expert, Caitlin Garger. Caitlin has collaborated with numerous clients in the financial services sector, aiding them in modernizing and enhancing their business intelligence systems, fostering a culture of data proficiency and boosting data literacy. Then we have Santosh Shekhar, a solution architect who plays a critical role in organizing and leveraging Tableau for data visualization and analytics. Santosh provides technical leadership, troubleshooting complex issues, optimizing server resources, and staying updated with Tableau's latest features and best practices. Rounding out the panelists today is Manish Rakeja, migration practice lead here at USEReady. He comes with an extensive experience in managing BI platforms and investment banks, and right now is helping organizations migrate from legacy BI platforms to get better data insights and improve their decision-making process. We have a lot of really great information to cover today, so let me turn it over to Priyanka. Priyanka, can you just share a bit about what will be discussed today?
Sure. Hi, everyone, and thanks, Michelle. So let's quickly go over the agenda for today. We'll be starting with a brief introduction to Tableau Pulse and see how it works. Next, we'll take a look at a business use case and a live demo, followed by USEReady's outlook on Tableau Pulse. And lastly, we'll wrap it up with stock and migration to cloud with USEReady. We have dedicated time for Q&A, so please do put your questions in the Q&A section. So before we delve into Tableau Pulse, is anyone already acquainted with this? We have a question posted on the Q&A window, so please take a moment to respond to that. All right, since there are folks on the call who are not familiar with Pulse as much and uncertain about the features, let's dive in and see for ourselves on what Tableau Pulse is. So Tableau Pulse is a reimagined data solution powered by AI that delivers insights directly into your workflow. It helps users keep track of their metrics that are important to them. And the way it stands out is with the three things that you see on the screen. Personalized metrics. These metrics can be tailored according to your own filters. So let's say you are specific to a role, you can have that specific personalized filters. Secondly, you have deeper exploration into metrics. And you can explore metrics deeper by utilizing the supporting dimensions to enhance your understanding of the KPIs, along with the guided conversations facilitated by generated AI. Along with review individual metrics, Tableau Pulse also provides an insight summary that consolidates all the tracked metrics. So that gives you a full picture in one. And lastly, we have easy access from anywhere. This is the most convenient aspect of Tableau Pulse. So you don't have to check your updates every now and then. Instead, your updates will be directly delivered to your Slack or your email, or you can access via mobile or browser. Now let's take a look at an example. So here's an example dashboard monitoring various KPIs associated with a surgical procedure. So many of you would have seen such a dashboard in your day-to-day life. If only you want to track only one of the metrics, let's say total scheduled procedures, you can actually create a pulse metric in just a few minutes and you'll receive automated insights that you can delve deeper into supporting metrics and can be accessed from anywhere. Now let's take a look at how Pulse operates on Tableau Cloud. Tableau Cloud has brought in the power of generative AI to deliver data in ways that are more personalized and contextual. And this has been done using Tableau Pulse. So how does Tableau Pulse function? So without making it too technical, let's take a look at these three layers that contribute to how Tableau Pulse works. So firstly, we have the metrics layer. This is where the creators or the explorers define and manage the metrics. This layer acts as a source of truth for all the metrics and definitions within your organization. Moving on to the next layer, which is your insight platform. This operates above the metrics layer, serving as the statistical service that generates the insights. So the insights that you see are then summarized using the natural language using generative AI. And lastly, we have the next gen experience. This integrates with your flow of workflow, and this gives you an option to get your insights directly in your email, Slack, mobile, or desktop. These AI-powered metrics summaries, helps user focus on most important aspects. So now you get to see the trends, the outliers, and the things that matter to you. So as previously highlighted, Tableau Pulse stands out as one of the latest enhancements of Tableau Cloud. So if your organization is yet to adopt Tableau Cloud, what stage are you currently at in the transition? Poll in the chat, so please do respond to that. Great. So I see people who are still researching on it, so please stay tuned because Manish will cover something on Tableau migration to cloud, and you'll see a lot of interesting information in that. All right, so now let's explore what Tableau Pulse users look like. So who benefits from Tableau Pulse? Within our organization, there are different kinds of users. We have business decision makers, we have technical decision makers, and we have an analyst. And all three different users have different questions that they're looking for. For instance, your Tableau, your business makers would seek actionable insights to generate tangible outcomes, whereas technical decision maker seeks a scalable process to accommodate diverse solutions. And lastly, an analyst seeks to enhance user adoption by rolling out easily accessible solutions. The good thing here is that Tableau Pulse these needs quite easily because it empowers users across different roles and functions within your organization, providing them timely, actionable insights and drives better decision making by providing business outcomes. Next, we have Caitlin, who will guide us through a Tableau Pulse dive demo.
Thank you, Priyanka. So before we get right into the actual demo, I just want to give some context as to what demo and use case we're going to be following. So we're going to currently be looking at a bank's wealth management division, and we're going to be addressing some problem statements within this use case. So our primary objectives have to do with enhancing adoption and engagement among senior executives in analytics. We also want to monitor advisors and team activities and progress towards their goals. We want to facilitate a deeper comprehension of our KPIs and crucial metrics. And of course, we want to accelerate the process of uncovering those insights. During the use case, we're going to be trying to assist various personas, such as regional directors, branch managers, team leads, and even individual financial advisors. So the questions that we're trying to answer to is how can we achieve that, and how is Pulse going to address those challenges? So me changing my screen, what you should be seeing here now is basically a Tableau Pulse home screen. Please note that all of the metrics being presented today are generated using synthetic or artificial data. We do not have actual financial advisors under these names, and these are not actual numbers, just meant for illustrating this use case. So currently what we're observing is my Tableau Pulse view, where I can see the metrics that I've selected to monitor, and because I found them either significant or pertinent to my day-to-day. In this case, let's assume that I'm an East Regional Manager and I'm overseeing various branches and teams underneath me. And of course, because I have so many people under my purview, it's hard to stay updated on portfolio performance or even team activities and individual advisor performance. But thankfully, Tableau Pulse really simplifies that. I can have my essential insights efficiently, and they allow me to basically explore any metric in more detail if I want to, but it gives me a nice home screen. And I can also have this, of course, in my email flow or in my Slack channel. So starting up on the top left, we see a nice little insight summary. Again, this is personalized to my context. I've only had or following 4 metrics at this time. But of course, if I were to follow 10 to 15 other metrics, this would be nice and succinct for me, telling me what metrics were maybe outliers, what increased or decreased dramatically, so that if I don't even have time to look at these, I have a good insight summary. Down below, I see the 4 metrics that I've chosen to follow. Because I'm an East Regional Manager for a wealth management division, I am following my average net new assets per financial advisor, my time spent on activities, my net new clients, and my net new assets. Each of these provides me with a nice percentage change versus a previous period. Nice little trend chart showing me not only the current month to date or today value, depending on the metric, but also some historical information. And then, of course, a nice little succinct summary below just for that specific metric. Like I said, I can dive into any of these metrics if I really want to. I'm going to click on, let's say, net new assets, and it's going to bring me to my net new assets metric, showing me my month-to-date KPI, as well as the previous period percentage change, as well as versus the prior year. If I scroll down a little, I can see my overview showing me my trend, and not only just the trend, but a nice insight summary telling me, is this within the expected range? Is it steadily increasing? Is it steadily decreasing? And also, when did that trend first begin? If I want to, I can break this down even further. And because, again, I am the East Regional Manager, I'm seeing all of the financial advisors, I'm seeing all the different branches, and all of the different teams underneath me. If I scroll down to this Discover Top Insights section, I can see pre-generated business questions that are built for me. And these are actually built on top of the metrics layer that Priyanka was mentioning before. So these proactively assist me in swiftly discovering insights, because what it's doing is it's running a statistical service or analysis underneath that automatically generates insights about my data, about the metrics that I've chosen to follow. And it is ranking them, ranking these insights and then summarizing for me in natural language, so that when let's say I just decide to say which financial advisor decreased the most, I get a nice visual chart for me, along with a nice generative sentence and a new question, something that popped up from the next rank. Of course, I can continue to ask questions that are already here. And if I don't find that any of these are exactly what I'm trying to do, I can also ask my own questions. So I can pose my own inquiries here and generate a visualization, very similar to how you might be using the functionality of Ask Data. Now, scrolling back up, I just want to point out a few things on this screen. First, you see that I am following this metric. There are also 3 other followers. You'll see that in a moment, because Priyanka and Santosh, or 3 followers in total. It's me, Priyanka, and Santosh for our use case. If I need to edit a definition of a metric for any reason, maybe we change the definition of how I'm filtering net new assets, or maybe, for example, I had created the average net new assets per financial advisor. Maybe there's some sort of logic I need to edit there. I can always edit my definition. Brings me to this sort of screen. Of course, I'm not going to kind of dive through all the how-tos on how to create a metric, but I can also see, I can easily change, is my value going up favorable thing, or is it an unfavorable thing, or is it neutral? Of course, in this situation, net new assets increasing is good for us, so I'm going to keep it as favorable. I can also adjust, let's say for my example, right, we have month to date here. If I wanted to change this to week to date, maybe for me, that's more applicable to my situation, I can always click on week to date, sort of save this metric, and I can follow the week to date instead. Maybe that's just something that I like better. Now, going back into our home screen, again, you saw these are the 4 metrics that I'm following right now. I can also browse other metrics that have been created. For our use case, the 4 that have been created for the wealth management division are basically the only 4 we have, just because those are the most important. But of course, if I create new ones, I can follow those as well. I know Priyanka already mentioned this, but I want to note it here. How do I set up my preferences so that I'm getting either Slack and email, daily, weekly, or monthly? So if I go up to my top right, I can see preferences. And right now, our admin has turned Slack off. We don't use Slack within our organization, so it makes sense to not have it turned on. But I can turn on email, and I can adjust it to daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on what I want. So again, what we're seeing or observing on my screen is my perspective, right, as the East Regional Manager. But what about for other hierarchical levels, like our branch managers or team leads? The question kind of comes up of, well, am I going to have to create another metric? Am I going to have to create a new metric definition for every different level? It seems like a lot of work. Thankfully, you don't need to do that. So what we're going to see on our screen right here, again, observing my screen as a East Regional Manager. This is just in net new clients. You can see that, of course, I have the trend and generated summary for me. But I, of course, can also break down and see team, branches, and financial advisors. We already saw this, right, with our net new assets. But what if, the scenario of Priyanka, who is our branch A manager, or Santosh, who's one of our team leads, what if they log in? So I can set up virtual connections or setting our row level security and have data policies set up where I can tailor metrics to different hierarchical levels within my organization without having to repeat work. So I didn't create a new metric for Priyanka or Santosh. They just followed the same metric, and they're seeing the data that's only relevant to them. So in this instance, I had established an entitlement table within my Snowflake connection. And within this table, I ensured that Priyanka and Santosh only had access. For example, Santosh is only his team lead. He only sees his team. Priyanka is a branch A manager. She's seeing everything under the branch A data. So just as we can ensure that row level security policies are applied in the dashboards that we're already used to, the same principle applies to metrics that are created on Tableau Pulse. I can maintain a personalized Pulse view displaying the data, again, that's relevant to me and personalized for my context. My colleagues can do the same, again, without having to create personalized metrics or views. Now, this is only one illustrative use case, which prompts the question, will Tableau Pulse be applicable to different scenarios? Our example with the Bank Wealth Management Division, right, is within the financial services sector. And naturally, there's potential to expand even within that vertical for things like risk assessment or call center management, fraud detection. Tableau Pulse can also find application in healthcare, where it's necessary to monitor things like supply chain management or even hospital bed utilization. And similarly in manufacturing with fault prediction or inventory management, and of course, things like warranty analysis. Right, the possibilities with Tableau Pulse are vast, just because they span across various industries, because KPIs that require regular monitoring are not limited to a single sector. So even the use cases that I have up here are just examples, just 3 main industries. You could basically do it for any industry, right? It's plausible to suggest that Tableau Pulse can be developed for nearly any scenario, given the multitude of crucial metrics and business decisions that are based off of those metrics, and also the increasing desire to frequently track those metrics. So at USEReady, of course, we engage with clients across diverse industries, tackling a wide array of scenarios and use cases. And this breadth of experience allows us to explore the numerous implementations of new features that Tableau releases. And of course, among these, we firmly believe that Tableau Pulse will significantly enhance organizations' analytical capabilities as well as increase or drive higher user adoption. But I'm not going to get into that. I know Santosh has those things, so he's going to be going over more reasons why we value Tableau Pulse.
Thank you, Kathleen, for the wonderful demo. Hello, everyone. Next, we'll explore why USEReady prefers Tableau Pulse. Please bear with me for next 10 minutes. It might be a bit challenging because unfortunately I don't have any fancy visuals to share with you all. However, stay tuned as later Manish will delve into Storm, a highly anticipated topic that everyone worldwide is eager to explore how to migrate from server to cloud. This will be your initial step towards utilizing Tableau Pulse situated on Tableau Cloud. Alright, so below are the key factors or advantages outlining why USEReady prefers Tableau Pulse. Starts with the data-driven decision making. Tableau Pulse empowers every employee by integrating data into their daily task. When it comes to AI-powered insights, with Tableau Pulse, you can get natural language insights that help you understand your data. Tableau Pulse provides real-time data insights as well, allowing organizations to make quick and informed decisions based on the most up-to-date information available. Interactive quick insights. Yes, with Tableau Pulse, organizations can create interactive insights that enable users to explore data dynamically, facilitating deeper understanding and analysis. When it comes to integration capabilities, right? Tableau Pulse integrates seamlessly with other data sources and systems, enabling organizations to consolidate data from multiple sources and gain a comprehensive view of their operations. And with Tableau Pulse, you can check your metrics on the go, from a Tableau mobile. So basically, everything is on your pocket. So coming to next gen experiences, right? Tableau Pulse delivers digestible data insights wherever you work, whether it's in Slack, email, Salesforce, or any applications. These proactive insights ensure timely decision making. That's a key piece, right? Yes. So when it comes to scalability and flexibility, this Tableau Pulse is capable of handling large volumes of data and adapting to the evolving needs of the organization as it grows. This array of benefits provided by Tableau Pulse inclines USEReady to favor it. Next, let's see about the roadmap and what Tableau Pulse can come up with in the near future. Right? So these forthcoming improvements are anticipated in the near future and were extracted from the Tableau conference of 2024. Starting with Pulse goals, right? So, you guys have, using the Pulse goals, you can set the goals and track your progress. And, it provides an ability to set a goal for a particular metric and it's being alerted. And it's easily see how a metric is tracking to a particular target as well. This is going to be very useful, on the go. And next we have the Pulse Q&A, something called as Ask. So what happens is each and every Pulse metric, at the bottom, you will be seeing a small icon says like ask. So, you can ask your question and get answered appropriately. That will be a small icon, as I said, and Pulse metrics will offer convenient pathways to explore other correlated metrics for deeper investigation as well. Yep, definitely it's going to be useful in the future. And as I said, the mobile interactivity, yes, swiftly and effortlessly adjust time periods for a metric or add new followers directly from Pulse on your mobile devices. Next, we are going to see, the Pulse in MS Teams. It's quite been a huge, going to create a huge impact for everyone because the people who use MS Teams most often they want Pulse to be, incorporated there. So this is where it's going to stand. So Pulse in MS Teams, easily conduct quick performance assessments and act on your insights whenever and wherever you need. And now it's going to be accessible from Microsoft Teams. Next, we have governance. So governance is nothing but, you can ensure the critical Pulse definition, remain unalterable by unauthorized users, fostering increased confidence in all associated metrics, right? So you can control your metrics basically. And the last we have is personalized insights. It's nothing but helps in transform outcomes with more metrics that matters to you. And last but not least, you have to think about the key to remember, right? So the three things, which keeps eating my mind is like, first thing is like the 3K customers live since launched. It's been very huge. So Pulse recently launched and we do have almost 3K customers, using Tableau Pulse, and they're very happy. They are satisfied with what they have. And next we have is Tableau Pulse is available only on Tableau Cloud. Yes, it's a moment for everyone currently using Tableau Server to consider this transition. Don't fret, it's not too late. And Tableau Pulse can be embedded into Tableau Dashboard. Yeah, you can embed Tableau Pulse year after, from in your Tableau Dashboard. That's been a added advantage. All right. So overall, Tableau Pulse empowers organizations with the tools they need to monitor, analyze, and act on data in real time, driving better decision making and business outcomes. By cultivating and democratizing data insights, Tableau Pulse enables effective decisions and actionability within your organization. All right. Finally, let me pass it on Manish for an overview of the STORM framework, highlighting successful use cases. Are you excited, guys? Over to you, Manish.
Thanks, Santosh. And I hope everyone is excited about the Tableau Pulse now. And the question is, right, how do we get there, and how USEReady is going to help you in that journey? So before that, I would like to talk about, right, how the USEReady is structured right now. So at USEReady, we provide a comprehensive suite of data and analytics solutions to address the challenges. And so today, as we know, the market dynamics are very fluid. So one of the top priorities of the organizations is to have an efficient decision-making process, which needs a reliable data and analytics platform, along with the AI capabilities. Keeping that in mind, at USEReady, we have created the following 4 functions. The data value that focuses on designing and implementation of the data ecosystems that are scalable, agile, and self-service. The visualization that focuses on the modernization and the expansion of the BI stack. Decision intelligence that focuses on augmented and advanced analytics. They specialize in leveraging AI and ML models for predictable outcomes and defining the future strategies. But what if someone is still using a legacy BI platform? So to address that, we have also the migration practice, that where we run multiple programs to build accelerators for migration from the legacy BI platforms. So 2 offerings that we have under the migration practice. One is a Migrator IQ. That is a program to migrate from the legacy to the modern BI platform. Any migration is not complete until and unless you support all the legacy use cases. And one of the profound legacy use case is the well-formatted pixel perfect reports. And to address that, at USEReady, we have built a product called the PPR, or the Pixel Perfect Reporting, that addresses this legacy well-formatted reported use case. Storm, that is a program to migrate from the Tableau server to the cloud, and that is a topic which we are going to cover in detail today, and that will help you in your journey to move to the cloud. Okay. So I would like to start with one of the recent migrations that we had done, where the client was a leading global investment firm. As every financial institution, main goal is to maximize the client returns, and that requires analysis of a lot of alternative data, right? So Tableau in this institution was initially introduced as a tool to support the ad hoc analysis in the investment research division, and later adopted as an enterprise reporting tool that was serving different business units like trading, risk, and others. Now the on-premise server was unable to meet the increasing resource requirements, and also hindering their ability to adopt new analytics features, as that required frequent upgrades. To overcome these challenges, client decided to migrate to the cloud. So USEReady helped the client to migrate to cloud with the help of Storm, program, which is an accelerated migration program based on our proven plan, migrate, validate framework that I'm going to cover a little bit later. Through Storm, we were able to achieve a higher efficiency by reducing the total migration time by 50% with minimal freeze time and the business impact. Storm enabled them to use the latest features like Tableau Pulse, along with the advantages of moving to the cloud like elasticity, high availability, reduced operational, and the maintenance cost. So when someone decides to migrate, the first question that comes to the mind is how we should execute it. First approach that usually comes to the mind is manual, which is good for small scale migrations, but doesn't work well for the large scale migration. Why? Because the longer migration times impacts business. You might have a longer downtime, and while you're migrating manually, you are focusing on the migration than optimization, which is very essential when you plan to migrate to cloud. So we need an automated way of migration where Storm comes in, and it offers the following advantages. It has the accelerators for assessment and the optimization, ability to review the contents for the migration readiness, and it enables incremental and on-demand migration, so business can prioritize the migrations as per the requirements. Storm offers an automated way to migrate the following Tableau artifacts, which otherwise could take a very long process. We start with the contents where we cover in the workbooks, dashboards, and the views, and then feeding to this content, right? So we have the data sources where we could have the live connections, the published and the embedded data sources. We could have the extract connections with the refresh interval where we need the Tableau bridge. And then we have the users, roles, groups, and the permissions, and then the views, subscription, and the alerts. Storm as a platform offers some key features like scalability, availability, auditing, and the logging capabilities. So at any point of time, the business will have the real state of the migration, how much we have done, and how much is pending. As I mentioned, the plan, migrate, validate framework, Storm is based on that framework that acts as a blueprint for all of our migration programs. In Storm, we carry out the following activities. Planning, which is the most important part of the migration process. If you do the planning accurately, I think half of the job is already done. And for planning under Storm, we have 3 accelerators. One is the navigator. It is an assessment tool to collect the inventory information and enables us to do the correct effort estimation. The next one is the Storm optimizer. This is the accelerator that is used to identify the objects that need to be optimized before migration. Organizer to identify the redundant objects that reduces the overall migration effort. So the key consideration for planning, topology, because when you migrate, the topology might change the data sources, security and governance, and the third-party extensions. Next comes the migration. As we follow a framework-based approach, we are able to offer a full versus partial migration. So it means that all the parts are not moving at the same time. We can prioritize as per the business requirement that someone might have requirements. Let's say that you have finance, right? For them, they have to do some month-end reportings. And for them, it is critical to have the systems available in early week, like first week of the month, every month, right? They are doing their month-end reportings. So we can plan that because we have the framework, it's an iterative process that we follow here. And then the source and destination mappings based on the planning. Migration is a semi-automated process with modular scripts that are very easy to deploy. Validation, which is again a semi-automated process. It helps us to migrate to validate the target state, all the workbooks and all the contents that have been migrated. And then also the important thing is the performance benchmarking, because as you migrate from one platform to another, that becomes very critical. Here is another case study where we helped one of the leading US commercial airline to move to the cloud. And as we know, right, the airlines industry, they strive to achieve high operational efficiency and the customer satisfaction. So they depend heavily on technology and the automated systems. So here the business took the decision to move to the cloud for higher efficiency, reliability, scalability, and reduce the operational cost. How UserReady helped? Again, with the Storm, we helped them to do the correct assessment of the inventory. As you can see, they here the airlines had around 950 workbooks with 600 embedded data source. So it was quite a large migration. And then we helped them to migrate faster with the automation in place. This migration was done last year, but eventually it has helped airlines to now conveniently use the newly released feature Pulse and some of the, and they are ready to use some of the exciting features that will be rolled out in near time. Like we just talked about Pulse goals, Q&A, teams. They don't, so that are they can use them readily. So if you want to learn more about how UserReady Storm can help you to migrate to the cloud to utilize the exciting features of the Tableau Pulse, please feel free to contact us directly. With this, I will hand over session back to Michelle.
Thank you, Manish. I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and move on to answering some questions that have been submitted through the Q&A. If you haven't gotten a chance to submit yours, by all means, please submit those now, and we'll do our best to answer all the questions that have come in, but we will reach out directly if we're unable to answer during the live program. Our first question up is, are there any use cases where Tableau Pulse isn't appropriate?
Yes, Michelle, I can take that up. So yes, there are cases where you may have to consider some other way, because firstly, if your data doesn't get refreshed frequently, that could be a problem, because if you see the way Tableau Pulse works, it looks for those outliers, the trend changes, those differences that happen between the periods. So that's important. And secondly, if your data is aggregated, so it's best to have data that is granular, because that way data can be changed with month to month, or the way Caitlin had showed, year to date, week to date. So that way you have variety of different options to go through it. But if you have a data that is aggregated, that might be a challenge. So that is one of the cases where Pulse may not be a good use case.
Thank you, Priyanka. Our next question is, what are the risks of creating thousands of metrics from different competing data sources, given that Tableau makes it easy to create and modify them? Caitlin, can you answer that one?
Yeah, I can definitely answer that one. So obviously, data governance and like organizational planning around what your strategy is of what you want on as a published data source versus not is important, even without Pulse, just in general best practices. So we're even seeing, obviously, Santosh had mentioned about the new features and one of them being governance. I'm sure that we're going to keep seeing that be added as new features roll out. But we want to make sure, starting off from anything, just best practices in general, Tableau Pulse or not, is whatever data sources you're publishing, are they reliable? Are they consistent? Are they going through some sort of like standard process? Because if we can ensure that, which is basically the root of the problem, right? We can ensure those are constant and consistent and checked out, then we can prevent any potential issues down the road. So obviously we want to be aware of potential risks, but it can be mitigated with the right strategies.
Thank you, Caitlin. Another question that has just come in. To confirm, Pulse is only available through Tableau Cloud. Would it ever be possible through Tableau Server for organizations with stricter data governance guidelines?
I think Manish was starting to answer that question on the chat, but it's only going to be available through Tableau Cloud. That is what they had said during Tableau conference as well. I think it more has to do with the large language models that are running the generative AI capabilities. So it's too big, too large to be running on an on-prem server.
Thank you, Caitlin. Another quick question that has come in, and I think this one is geared towards you, Santosh. Do customers have control over whether or not Tableau's Pulse generative AI or GAI capabilities are enabled in their environment?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's quite easy, like because we do have a site level setting on Tableau Cloud where you can go and turn on and off the generative AI capabilities. So that's going to be kind of a straightforward. You can just go to site settings and get it done. That's easy.
Thank you, Santosh. All right, another quick question that has come in. Can you create other chart types within Tableau Pulse other than bar or line charts?
I can take that one. So right now, bar and line charts are the only thing that are there from like automatic generation. And I think it has to do mainly with the fact that we're looking at time series analysis mainly, right? Those trend charts that we're seeing, and also being able to easily compare domain members, like I was showing with the breakdown of different branches or team leaders or individual advisors. I obviously wouldn't be surprised if in the near future or somewhere on the roadmap, Tableau starts to increase the amount of visualizations, just because I know it's probably going to be an ask from people. And as it expands, right, Tableau Pulse is still one of the newer features. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see other options.
Thank you very much for that, Caitlin. All right, it looks like we have answered all of the questions that have come in. We'd like to go ahead and thank you all for joining our webinar today. To learn more about Tableau Pulse and how USEReady can help you in your Tableau or your data journey, please feel free to reach out. We're also happy to discuss if you're already on the cloud and need help modernizing and optimizing your analytics, we'd be happy to discuss that with you as well. Thank you so very much to all of our participants today and certainly to our speakers. We really appreciate it.